Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to part 2 of my Trinity 10s. This week's topic is where we are comparing what it means to be efficient and what it means to be lean, and then how we can get there within our business and the amount of time it takes, what all we have to put in place in order to even become efficient. And then once we become efficient, we can then become lean, right? Okay, so on Tuesday's video, I actually spoke about efficiency in the realm of a final mile service for your products, right? So instead of you using a truck to ship your products, instead of you loading pallets onto the truck, you're actually using air freight, which then gets the product to your end customer much faster than you waiting on a truck or that truck being stuck in traffic or whatever it is. But in being efficient to the end that you're seeking to reach, it does cost you more money. And so a lot of times people automatically want to just trim the money. They want to trim the fat. They want to keep as much profit as possible, which of course is why we're in business, and that's just fine. But when you're starting out, there's so much that you have to learn. There's so much that is required for you to just consistently do, for you to even gather data. I mean, the amount of time it takes to gather data and then work off of that data is crucial, because you don't want to lean out too soon. And in leaning out too soon, you end up letting your customers down. You end up missing a step. You end up, that service level that they were used to is no longer in place, but you're saving money, right? And like I always talk about in all of my videos, people have options, you guys. No matter how good your product is, no matter how much you think people are just loyal to you, they have to come back to you, and no other person is going to be as good as your product. That's not true. And because people have options, you need to make sure that your infrastructure, your insides of your company, the way you process things, your system, the way your associates come in, the way your supervisors and your managers handle your associates, all of those things are crucial in the workings of a business. Again, you can have the most winning product, and if your management sucks and people don't like coming to work, your company is just done for, right? So with speaking on the fact of your associates are important, when you're building efficiency, that is built through consistency. Again, I talked about that on Tuesday's video. And that consistency comes from your associates. That consistency comes from the SOPs that you've put in place, and the KPIs are the standards that you hold those people to. So I know that air freight is efficient because I don't have to use as many associates to get that freight onto the plane, or I don't have to use as many associates to load the truck that's going to take my products to the plane. But maybe if I decided to go lean and use trucks only, I need double the associates, because those orders that once went out is too much for a truck, but what was once okay for a plane now is no longer considered lean, right? I don't know if that's making sense. So if I've kept labor low due to using air freight, but air freight is efficient yet not cost effective or lean, then I need to make sure that my system is predicated on the fact that my customers are, being serviced at the top tier level that they're used to. And before I go to cut anything, I need to see how that will impact my customers. I need to see, will it cause them to want to go to another provider, or will it cause them to want to go to another company and get my same product and possibly at a cheaper rate, because they may not be using air freight because of, their efficiency needs or whatever the case may be. So a lot of times in business, we want to just come in and be lean. We just want to get to it. We want to trim all the fat. We want to keep all the profit. We need to run a skeleton crew. We need all these people to be here. And when your associates are maxed out, when your associates are stressed, when your associates are at a place where they don't want to produce like they need to, even by your base metrics or your base KPIs, you're in a horrible position. And running a lean system oftentimes feels like that for your associates, because if they have to be retrained, if they have to change their hours, if they have to work a split shift or whatever, there's so many things that go into trying to be lean as a company. And you haven't had enough time to even create efficiency. You haven't even had enough time to be consistent to get to efficiency. And then from efficiency, you become lean. But those things take time. It's even how I say for scaling. You cannot just jump up and scale because your first year was good. That's not how it works. You need time to provide you with metrics. You need time to provide you with data. You need time to back up your SOPs and your processes within your company. You need those metrics to reinforce what it is you're doing. And before you try and slice metrics based on your P&L, or before you try to slice metrics based on your bottom line, you need to make sure that it's going to be a good fit for the company overall, and you're not rushing to be lean when you just reached efficiency, right? So, for being lean, like I said, it takes time. Some of the things to consider when you are being lean is, will becoming lean cause a need for new training? Like I said, with your associates, those are your people who give you your numbers. Will it impact my end product the customers have become accustomed to? Will my output increase but cause stress or bottlenecking on another part of my process? Oh, that's a good one. So bottlenecking is when you had a step in between there to kind of help the flow, right? You want to go lean now. So where you had 4 associates getting everything ready to go on the truck, you trimmed it down to 2. Right? So now that you've trimmed those 2 people down to 2 because you're trying to be lean, it takes them longer to get the product on the truck. And then taking them longer to get the product on the truck, you now run the risk of missing your plane if you're still using air freight, or you run the risk of your trucks that are now shipping out everything not being loaded in time to make the end time that you set for your customers, right? So you have to make sure that whenever you create something or you tweak something or you take it away or you try to become lean, you're not causing another issue within your company to make you either have to double back and put that thing that only seemed efficient and not lean in the beginning, come back and put that in place, or to the point where you're impacting your customer and therefore your bottom line ultimately, because they're the ones who keep your money coming in. They give you the metrics for you to know if you should just remain efficient or should you try and go lean. So a lot of times with pressure from the top, we don't realize that sometimes efficiency is enough. Sometimes I need to sit in this good 1 to 2 years of solid efficiency before I try and lean out everything, before I try and trim all this fat and do all these things that are just going to ramp up production in my mind or ramp up our bottom line. How can you keep the fat and earn exactly what it is you need from that fat? How can you learn? How can you spend that year before you're trying to just lean everything out? How can you spend that year and make sure you remain efficient so that you're not taking pieces of the process out and damaging your company culture? Are you damaging your SOPs? Are you changing your infrastructure? Are you going to have to move facilities? Because now when you used air freight, you want to use truck freight. And to get the truck freight to your East Coast like you need it to be, you have to be closer to the East Coast, right? So there are things that could end up costing you more money. There are things that could end up causing you a bottleneck within your company. So there's so much residual that goes back when you're trying to rush to be lean. You need time. You need time. If you don't have numbers to show you what's efficient, or if you don't have numbers to show you where you're spending too much, then you can't become lean. And like I said, don't just rush into wanting to be lean. You're a year in and you're worrying about being lean. No, you need that time to process. You need to figure out what's the best step. Okay, if I take this from quadrant 1 to quadrant 2, this is perfect. If I skip over quadrant 2 and go to quadrant 4, that's fine. But what was there in quadrant 3 that I missed? What in quadrant 3 helped me facilitate getting it to quadrant 4 and then ultimately to my customers? So if you can't dissect exactly what it is that's in your process, if you can't fully dissect what's putting you in a position to be profitable or what's putting you in a position to remain efficient, then you're not in the position to try and lean out if you don't even know what's building your efficiency beyond just consistently servicing our customers. You know, here's the demand, we're servicing, but you don't have specifics on what it is that's keeping you in that process of efficiency. So I want to make sure that when you think on being lean, it is a great place to be, you guys. You know, Lean Six Sigma, you have people certified in it and all this stuff. That's great. But don't think of being lean in a way that you just want to automatically sift out your employees, because those are people who can help you create new systems or even add to the efficiency in a way that keeps you from needing to cut them out, that could possibly provide some lean ideas, that could possibly tell you, hey, we don't really need this many people here. I've been able to do it on my own with, 2 or 3 people. Then why can't that shift have 2 or 3 people? Okay, boom. Now I can revisit my infrastructure. Now I can revisit my SOPs and generate a new KPI, a new standard in order to get me to efficiency. And from efficiency, I'll end up leaning myself out because I have that insight. Okay. All right, you guys. So this is part 2. I hope you guys enjoyed this topic. I will be relaunching or kind of like revamping my book so that you all can purchase that, The Conscious Leader. Follow me on Facebook, Fredrina Reed, / Freddie the Trinity Pro, and I'll see you guys on next week. Thank you.